everybody, welcome to the Braid and Tinker Podcast. My name is Melanie and I am a knitter. This is a video podcast all about knitting. You can find me on Instagram as Melanie_knits and most other places as Braid and Tinker, such as Ravelry and Etsy and Twitter. I will be closing my Etsy shop where I sell hand-dyed yarns pretty soon. I've been thinking about changing platforms, and the recent price increase by Etsy has kind of pushed me over. Mainly the percentage of fees on the shipping that they are now calculating is, I just find that ridiculous, to be honest. So that's fine. There's plenty of other options. I've been looking into Shopify, but I think it's more for people who are very professional, and I'm definitely not at that level. So I've selected Big Cartel, and I'm in the midst of sort of setting that up and making it look good. And when that is ready, I will be posting that on Instagram probably. So yay. I'll let you know when the big change happens. But so that's just something that's been going on. I have noticed a substantial dip in YouTube viewers over the last few weeks. Like my rational brain thinks that is because it is summertime and people are just less interested in knitting. So it's probably not a weird thing. So thinking long and hard about that, I'll probably be, I wasn't really on a fixed podcasting schedule anyway, but I kind of had this idea of making an episode every week and publishing that on Thursdays. I think it's for the summer time anyway, might be every other week. I'm still kind of playing around with the idea of doing one week doing a podcasting video and then the other week doing a tutorial video. I quite like recording tutorials, and people seem to like. I only have one tutorial on this channel that is how to cast on for 2 socks at a time, toe up magic loop, and I've gotten quite a few views on that video and some good responses. So I definitely think that is something that people are interested in. I'm just not sure if that people who watch podcasts are the same people who watch knitting tutorials, but I don't know. It's something I can try. It doesn't really matter. It's not like it's I don't know. This is not my job. This is for fun, so I can just do fun things that I want to do and see how they go. I have actually been knitting quite a bit the past few weeks, even though it's been, so it hasn't been really, really warm here. It's been quite pleasant, to be honest. It's been really warm today, and it's going to be quite warm in the coming days here in the Netherlands. It's just something that we're not super used to, and the houses don't really have air conditioning. The building where I work it's quite a big professional setup, and they have air conditioning, so that's fine. I actually left work early today. I took the afternoon off to go dyeing in the kitchen and do some yarn dyeing, and it just felt like a really bad decision, because who leaves a perfectly good air-conditioned office building, to go stand in their bloody hot kitchen to do yarn dyeing. So apparently that person is me. But I've been having some ideas for more autumnal themed yarns. And my sister, the main thing is my sister's been hammering on that she wants some new yarns from me. So I was playing around in the dye pots today. And I think if I want to do more of those sessions where I sort of like crank out a couple of different colours, I'm going to need some more pots and pans. Because I'm kind of limited in what I can do at the moment I have 2 pans and 2 pots. So yeah, I can like dye some stuff in the pots, and then what I do is put them in the pans and speckle them and put them in the oven. And you can't really do too much at the same time at the moment. So, which is a shame because it does take quite a bit of time, and I feel like if I could do more yarn at the same time, I would feel more productive. Because now I feel like I've been, in a hot kitchen for an entire afternoon and I have 4 skeins as a result. And it's been more of like a trial, so it would have been faster if I had done like 2 sets of 2 colours, but I wanted to do 4 different types of things to just try stuff out. So yeah, it was all a bit slow, but it doesn't really matter. It was a fun afternoon. So that was good. But I have been knitting because I cast on a Tegna, which is a knitting pattern by Caitlin Hunter, and it is very, very popular, and I think everybody and their mother are knitting this thing. So I'm using the yarns that I bought in Brussels a couple of weeks ago. I was visiting friends there and I found a yarn shop really, really close to their house. So I bought this. It is Olan yarns in the corn colorway. And I'm knitting the size large because that is what the pattern told me to knit. I made a gauge swatch. Like, in all honesty, it was a very small swatch, and I didn't actually knit like the full 10 centimeters, but it was enough for me to realize that because the needles in the pattern are 3.25 millimeters, and that would have been a very, very tiny sweater. So I switched to 3.75. It actually specifies that in the pattern that some people have not been able to get gauge until they moved up to a 4.5 millimeter needle. So there's quite a big, what's the word, discrepancy in the needle sizes that people have used for this pattern. Let me see if I can find, Ooh. It's a paid for pattern, so I'll try not to put too many of the pattern in full view, but this is what it looks like. I'll put another picture of it on screen. I'm trying to make it a little bit longer because it's quite a cropped number, but I kind of want it to be a little bit longer. So I'm just adding some length, keeping my eyes out on how much I still have on my ball. I've just been weighing it really to see how much of the 100 grams is gone, and I still have, because this is my second skein, and I have a third skein that I'll probably use as well. But I think like I just want to add some length, and then anything else is just going to be as per pattern. I think it'll, because it's a single ply superwash merino, it will probably stretch out quite a bit, but I don't think that I'm gonna mind that terribly. I think the lace is very, very pretty, although it is like a 47, I want to say. Hang on, I just have it here. I can tell you the proper number. Yeah, 47 row repeat, and I had to do and there's like these blocks, and I had to do 9 of the blocks, and every block is 20 stitches wide. So yeah, like the lace pattern is really fun, but then after, I don't know, row 18, I was kind of done with it. So you kind of have to push through at the end, but then you get to stockinette forever. So that's perfect television knit. Let me just put this here, and it's in my tartan fringe bag. I'm still working on the baby sweater for my stepsister. I finished the bottom bit. Hang on. Ooh, there we go. And I'm now working on the sleeves. I think I'm just going to make them a little bit shorter sleeves, because babies wear, like, if it's cold, you just put them in something long sleeved, right? Don't think the sweater also has to be long sleeved. My other fringe bag. I'm obsessed. So yeah, I quite like that knit, but it's like one of those things that you start because you think, oh, it's going to be really quick, and then it's still a bunch of knitting, so it's not that quick. It's taking longer than I thought it would. And then also I've just been knitting on my Tegna quite a bit because I really like that. The baby sweater is a flax light sweater, by the way. It's a free pattern by Tin Can Knits, so it's really nice. We went to the beach yesterday, and it's really nice because we live in Haarlem, and you can just cycle to Bloemendaal Strand, which is about 30-minute bicycle ride, probably less. But it was a really nice day. I can pop in some pictures at the end of the video. It's quite nice because at a certain point you kind of go under this bridge. It's a new bridge that they've built, and it's not actually for humans. It's for all the wildlife that lives in the dunes, so that they can cross the motorway that is heading to the beach. And the particular beach that we were going to, there's no train, because there's one beach called Zandvoort where the train goes, so that one's pretty popular. And then the other ones, so if you have a car or are able to cycle to the beach, you don't go to Zandvoort because it's really busy. So, and then you have other beaches. But we went to Bloemendaal and we cycled, and it was pretty busy with cyclists when we were going on our way back, because I think we were quite early. We were about there at little to 11, and the plan was to have like a little bit of lunch. Oh no, wait, I think we were later than that. It doesn't really matter. We were at the beach and had some fun. I just sat in the sand and did some knitting because I don't really like cold. So the thing about the beach is I really like the beach, but I don't like having to worry about getting burnt. I don't like feeling sticky. I don't like having sand in the sticky bits. I don't like the sensation of being really warm and then going into really cold water. And I don't like crowded places. and so on and so forth. And also when I walk in the sand, I'm always worried I'll stand in a seashell and hurt my foot, because that happened to me when I was a kid. So yeah, it's like a recipe or a cocktail, if you will, of things that I do not like, and yet I had a really good time. So yeah, it was really nice. My son loves it. He is obsessed with water and obsessed with playing in sand, and like, I don't like that feeling of sunscreen and sand mixed together and becoming like a really horrible sticky scrub that is covered. And I used to always do my best to try and avoid that at all costs. And it's not possible when you have a kid, because you spray them with like the factor 50 kids stuff, and then he dives headfirst into the sand, and then he comes and hugs you. So it's adorable and lovely, but you have to sort of let go of the uncomfortableness. You just have to have very low expectations of comfort when you have children, I guess. That sounds terrible. Don't listen to me. I'm weird. Anyway, I was knitting at the beach yesterday, and I was knitting on my bus socks. These are in my project bag in my backpack when I go to work. And I barely knit on them in the bus because it's, I don't know, it's not always how I feel. But so I took them to the beach yesterday, and it was fun. So now they're like covered in sand. These are going to be such comfortable, fantastic socks. The yarn is quite squishy. It's, I would say, more of a sport weight yarn than a fingering weight. And I'm knitting these on a 2.75 millimeters. I usually knit my socks on a 2.25, which is, I think, is a US size 1. I'm not sure. I think this is a US size 3. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, yeah, I think they're just going to be really lovely, squishy, nice socks. The yarn is by Knitted Wit. The base is their Victory sock, and the colorway is PDX Carpet, which is inspired by the carpet at Portland Airport. So there's that. So I haven't got a ton of stuff to show you this week, because I've just been knitting on my Tegna all the time, really. I'm just obsessed with that thing. I love the colour. I love the softness of the yarn. I really enjoyed the lace part, although, you know, it was getting a bit long. I just like everything about it, and I'm stalking the hashtag Tegna sweater on Instagram religiously, because when I'm knitting a pattern, I really want to see what other people have made, and check out the Ravelry project pages and see if other people have made any modifications, and, you know, how did they find the pattern and things like that. So with the Tegna, I'm just completely the same. And what I found is that most people, I don't know, either don't read the pattern, which, yeah, I don't always read the pattern either, so I don't really blame you. And then end up with a giant Tegna, or they don't take the needle size recommendation into play, and their Tegna is tiny. Some people seem to be doing sort of like decreases in the center to make it less of a boxy fit, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to knit a longer body, but then knit it as per pattern. If it was like a stiffer yarn, I would probably also make some decreases at the waist. But because this yarn is so drapey, I feel like it's just going to drape in anyway, and it doesn't really matter. It's not, I feel like for this yarn, it's a step that would be unnecessary. So I'm just not doing it. I'm just glorious stockinette until I get to the separation of the sleeves, which is going to be soon, by the way, because my God, I've knit some stockinette on that thing. So I'm hoping I'll have some more interesting developments on the Tegna front in the next podcast. What else have I got? I have done a small order on Yarnistry shop. I really like her stuff. She does a lot of laser cut acrylics. It's an Etsy store. And I got this necklace which says knitter. I'll put a picture in. And it's really nice, I found, because when you kind of announce it, some people like, okay, they go like, oh, haha, or they're like, oh, that's really cool. How did you make that? Like, I bought it. And then other people are like, oh my God, you're a knitter. Me too. That's fantastic. Blah, 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 yarn, talk. So I was at work and somebody said, oh, that's a nice necklace. I'm a knitter too. And then we had this whole conversation about Portuguese knitting and stuff. So that was, yeah, really nice. I'm just going to take a sip of water. And then she has other stuff like this. This is a sock ruler. And what you can do is measure what size you're knitting. My plan is actually to mark it where I do the increases for the gusset, so that I don't have to like constantly put it on my foot, but I can just whip out the sock ruler. Isn't that brilliant? So really happy with that. And then I also I saw this on the Salapalooza Knit podcast, and then I had to order one immediately. It is the Kohana mini snips. They have like a bigger pair of sort of like fancy Japanese scissors, and this is just like the mini version of that. But it's so flipping adorable. And I don't know, it has like a little tassel. So it says on the website that the tassel is made by a master Japanese tassel maker. I don't know how true that is, but it does look really cute. And it has like a little leather pouch, and it's pretty sharp, and it fits perfectly in my notions tin. So I just thought it was so cute, so I had to buy one for myself. I think they're quite, I wouldn't say they're super cheap. I wouldn't say they were very expensive either. It's something nice for yourself. That costs money. Oh yes, so, and then not yesterday, but the week before that, on Sunday, my friend Anouk came over to Haarlem, and we had lunch together, and we had coffee and knitted outside, and it was lovely. And I have been making project bags. It's kind of weird having all my stuff behind me. I might do a different setup next time. Because I had some labels made. Braid Tinker. And I don't really have a logo, so I just thought I'll put the hand washing symbol for like those washing labels. I'll just put that on there because, yeah, it's what you do with your yarns or your hand knits, you wash them by hand. So I thought that was funny. These are just some bags I made. The outside is a pretty heavy duty canvas. I've got some pink ribbons, and the inside has a fun fabric. And then I have this one, a yellow one with some cactuses on the inside. This one doesn't have ribbons yet, but it's a little wider one with some more cactuses and stuff. It's a little Volkswagen bus. It's a really cute fabric. So I've just been sort of like testing some stuff. I have a lot of the heavy duty canvas, so it's a good thing to make project bags with and then give them to people. So I gave one to Anouk, and then the funny thing was she had made project bags also, but like a little bit earlier, and she had brought one for me. So that is this. I really like it. It looks like one of those pink hazel bags. It's really fancy. So, yay! More bags. And then she was telling me that she was getting yarn from one of those subscription services, and she got a bunch of yarn in more pinkish colours, which are not really her colours, and then she just gave them to me, not that day, but she sent them to me later on. So I won't be showing those yet because I have a pattern idea. I think that I want to knit the Midsummer Rose. Oh blimey, the thing that's the really lacy one in the in Lane's magazine number 5. I think it's Midsummer Rose. I'll put it in the screen. And yeah, so it's sort of like it's a 3-color kit with lots of pink, and I think it will be really good for that shawl. Even though the pattern is like just grey, but you know, I don't knit just grey. Actually, I will be knitting just grey because after I finished my Tegna, I have decided that I'm knitting the Adrift shawl by Vera Valimaki, which is also in Lane magazine number 5. And I'm using some grey lamb's wool for that. And I will be holding it double with mohair. So that is going to be one giant fluffy grey Adrift shawl. It's probably going to look super different to what everybody else is making. But yeah, that's me, so that's fine. What else has been going on? Derek has been extracting the honey from the bees. I would say our bees, but they really are his bees because I don't put any work in it. Yeah, so he got, I would say, over 25 kilos of honey, which sounds absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, it is quite a lot of honey, but he's going to be making mead with that, and the honey tastes like really good, and my son really loves it. I put some on a sandwich the other day for him, and he just gobbled it all up. He loved that honey, which is good because he's a 3-year-old who has been asserting his independence by deciding what he does and does not like to eat. So I'm not too stressed about it yet because he eats enough and we know what he likes to get him to eat, but sometimes it's hard. So having the sandwich with honey sort of like, because sometimes I'm sure it's not like super healthy or anything, but sometimes you're just happy when they've eaten something and that's a win for that day. So yeah, he gets vegetables. Do not worry, he's fine. He will not die of scurvy. Thank you so much for watching. Please give a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching this video. It helps me immensely because it tells YouTube that people actually like the things that I'm making. If you want to be notified of new videos, you could click the subscribe button thing. Thank you for watching. Bye!